I'm Gabrielle. This is my story. This is my truth. So I was born in New York. I moved around a lot for my dad's job. I went from Virginia to Florida, and I'm back in Virginia now. I live outside DC. And when I was looking for schools, I wanted something that wasn't too big, wasn't too small, but something that had a really nice community kind of feel. And like from the moment I got here, I was like, okay, this is definitely what I want. It's been really cool to have a different experience, I feel like, than most people. Like most people I meet and I talk to them about where I'm from or like where I grew up and where I've been placed from my family, like my parents and how they raised me, and like obviously being in mostly predominantly white areas, like it's gonna be difficult. Being here at Springfield, like it resembles what I've grown up around, so I feel comfortable here, and it's not like I'm stepping into a whole new world. Like it was something I've experienced before, and being here, my parents were like, we just want to make sure that you're where you want to be. My mom went to an HBCU, my dad went to Virginia Tech, big PWI, like it was up to me what I wanted. They wanted to put me in the best position and make the best decision for me, and I think that coming here was like my best choice. I just feel way comfortable and it feels very homey. This is always what I'm used to, so it's just a very comfortable place to be. I had never really experienced like any aggressive outward actions of discrimination or racism, so being here, I haven't experienced that on Springfield College campus either, but it's definitely harder when things start to come up in terms of racial issues in the country, in the community, wherever, because I've always kind of been looked to as that person to like educate others on whatever is going on or provide that Black perspective to a situation. I feel like the conversation has been a lot easier to have recently because I feel like more people are listening, and I feel like Springfield College has done a really good job, at least from my perspective, in having the conversation and being open to conversation with the students and with faculty and with athletics specifically, where I think that a lot of our African American population does fall into the student athlete group. So I feel like there's been a lot of efforts and a lot of energy being put into those conversations. When you meet someone for the first time, it's very easy to make a general assumption about them and what they do and what they've gone through. But unless you really sit down and have the talk, the one-on-one, and figure out who they are and what they do that makes them them, I feel like that's what my story, my truth is. Everyone has their own truth, everyone's gone through their own things, and in order to really know a person and make a connection with them, you have to be able to have that conversation. So get to know them, their story, what they've gone through, and how they ended up where they are today. Back to right when all of the when the Black Lives Matter movement started to pick up again because of George Floyd and everything that's been going on with police brutality, I feel like that moment was a very big eye-opener for a lot of people. I think one really impactful moment, my coach, Coach Long, I came downstairs one morning and she was on Zoom with my mom in our kitchen. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but let's see what's happening. And she was talking to my mom about how to address our team and how to have the conversation. So she came to my mom as a white woman in a place of authority, running a team where there happens to be a Black athlete and this happening in the world. She took it upon herself, not asked, unprovoked, to call my mom and say, hi, I know that I don't have all of the necessary tools to have this conversation. I've always known she was a good lady. But like that moment, I was like, wow, she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to have the conversation at all. We could have gone the rest of the summer and not talked about it as a team. But she made it her business and her duty to reach out to someone who she was looking for an answer for and say, how do I approach a situation? And I think that the biggest thing is learning things, educating yourself on issues that people of color face, but also then taking that information and utilizing it, or being the person, if you see something that's not okay, being that person to step up. I feel like a lot of the change is centered around how are we going to make our Black student athletes feel more comfortable, and I really think that that's very important, but we also need to make sure that our non-student of color student athletes are feeling comfortable enough to have the conversation and feeling comfortable enough to make the difference themselves, and that it can't just come from the oppressed group.